This one. Oh, I'm not.
Yeah. Maybe while they're looking, maybe turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hi everyone, this is Olivia. I was previously working in Amidzic as a founding member and then joined Finance Lab. So I think that's why I'm invited for this amazing panels. And I'm currently at the leading Story Academy, the leading incubator and accelerator under Story Academy, under Story ecosystem. So today I'm going to be the moderator for this panel. Let's start it from the introductory speaker, starting from you.
Hello everyone, Momir here. I've been with IOSG Ventures since early 2020. IOSG is a crypto-only investment firm. We've been investing in the space since 2017. Most of the team is based in Asia. We have people in Hong Kong, Shenzhen, Bangalore, and one small office in New York. But yeah, happy to be here today and discuss some of the AI trends and some other topics.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Chichi. I am from HackBC, partner at HackBC. I've been in crypto for 7 years, and then I started at a family office based in Hong Kong. We invest a lot in crypto. Actually a seed investor of Definity, Certic, and early investor of Circle, Extra. And then I started Scaling X, which is an incubator accelerator here in Singapore. We have an office here. We also run the first orb of WorldCoin here in Singapore in our office. I think if you're based here, then you probably already visited our office because we host so many events every week. And then I joined HackVC. I'm still running Scaling X, but then I joined HackVC as a partner. I help with finding, sourcing deals, and then also I host events for HackVC. For example, this year we hosted Hack Summit in April in Hong Kong, and we had over 2,000 people join us. Next year we're gonna host it either February or April in Dubai. So if you want to host an event with us, please let me know. I'm here and available for chatting.
Hey guys. Can you hear me? Yeah. So I'm Amit. I'm a partner with Borderless Capital. We started, the fund was launched late 2018. We have around 600 million AUM now, over 350 portfolio companies, 3 active funds which are deploying, 2 on the VC side. One is focused on interoperability, cross-chain. From there we are early investors in Movement Labs, pre-seed round, Noble Assets. We are doing a few in the Solana ecosystem now, including Solar and so on. The second is a deep focused fund, third in its vintage. So in fact, we are going to announce the launch of our Deepin Fund 3 along the lines of TOKEN2049. From there, all the key Deepin protocols we are investors in, like Helium, Demo, Hivemapper, Native, ZeroNet, and others. And then we also have a hedge fund. And over the coming months, planning to launch 2 more funds. One is a growth fund, so more Series A, Series B, and onwards. And the second is a fund focused in the LATAM ecosystem. So glad to be here with you.
So another question I think a lot of people here would love to hear: what made you choose to join crypto from your previous work experiences, and what made you become an investor? Because I think this journey is going to be totally different, and I think a lot of us would like to hear your experience and what made you today.
I guess the story is relatively simple. I first started researching crypto in 2016, 2017, but that was more as a hobby, and I was a little bit more on the skeptical side of things, and I was still in the university back then, and then in 2020, I guess it was a little bit of a random walk that led me into this industry. As I was graduating my master degree in finance, I was mostly looking for either venture capital or hedge fund opportunities, because I also had passion for coding and building trading strategies. And at the time, DeFi was just starting to form in the crypto space, and I guess that drove me to also apply for the opportunity at IOSG. So I started originally as the intern that was focused on DeFi research at IOSG, and now it's been more than 5 years, and gradually I also grew more and more interested in this space, and then also built like also a philosophical basis for why crypto and why being in this industry. But early on it was a lot of it just due to the randomness, and fortunately it led me to this industry, and I'm very much happy with the choice and how it played out.
Yeah, must be the.
Must be a really correct decision.
Yeah, so.
I
Oh, I don't think it works. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay, so I guess I have a more emotional story. I was struggling if I should tell the story, okay. So I was, I graduated in 2017, and then joined VC, and then at that time crypto was just hype. So I started to help with crypto investment. But then, and I didn't know why. I didn't know why I should invest in crypto. But then I went to one of those conferences in Tokyo, and then I met a guy and asked him, why are you in crypto? And then he told me this story of how he's from South Africa, and then from childhood he had a friend who's from Syria. And then later the friend went back to Syria, but then Syria later had a war, so he called his friend and said, hey, like, how are you gonna be able to get out of the country? Do you need help? And then the friend say like, oh, there's really no way for me to get out of the country. If I want to get out of the country, I need to apply for a visa to go to any countries, basically. But then for applying visa, he needs to prove he has enough assets. But then at that time, Syria currency worth almost nothing. So he has to prove he has either like US dollars or European money, or like whatever money is more like valuable, but he didn't have that money. So if he had Bitcoin, then he could transfer or convert into US dollars to be able to get out of the country and to survive. So it was just like a very shocking story for me, and then that was the moment I realized, okay, Bitcoin is basic human right. So that's why I should contribute to this industry. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think like I joined crypto in 2016. I was in the US, did my MBA from there, and then my dad had some health issues, so wanted to come back and be with my family in India. And at that time, I had this whole mindset of anti-establishment, like doing something, not being with the norm. So a group of friends, like they were just So I started investing in Bitcoin, ETH, and then was working with a group of friends. We started investing in a few projects. So my first investment was Elrond back in the day. Now they are rebranded to Multiverse. Then we did Band Protocol, Biconomy, Go, and like bunch of them. So that's how it started, and then that also helped that group of friends create a fund. Now there is a fund called Woodstock based in Dubai, and it was a little bit of serendipity. Borderless was just starting, and I was one of the first hires to join them. So that's how I got it.
Love all the stories shared. I think they are all really good. I think that's what made you today, and really impressive about what you have done. And next question is what are some of the projects that you love in past of the season or cycle? Like what kind of projects are you like in each cycle? What do you prefer, and you love the CCs and you see the success of it?
So I guess back when I joined IOSG in early 2020, it was still kind of bear market. The DeFi projects just started forming up, so back then we were one of the first Asian investors actually to invest heavily into DeFi space, and we were basically looking this niche vertical form at the time, and we were searching for basically new categories, the categories that we think that have the biggest market upside, and trying to bet on the first movers in these directions. So back then, on the DAX segregation space, we invested in 1inch 0x. Synthetic asset space was also just starting to form up, so we invested in projects like Synthetics and UMA. And then I guess like soon after that, like the DeFi summer started, with especially like the peak in 2021, and it became a little bit harder to invest in DeFi. I remember there were like probably 40, 50 like spot and perp taxes I talked to, and at the end it became like more incremental innovations, and it became like very clear that the market is quite overvalued and under a lot of hype. So bull market in general wasn't the best opportunity to deploy in anything looking back, and then in this bear market I think we've again got some very good opportunities. Like this cycle it was a lot of new projects on the modular TZ side of things, like DA solutions like Eigenlayer and Celestia. I think IOSG is probably one of the only Asian investors that invested in both of them, as well as Babylon on the staking side of things. And if you look into each of them, they all created their own category, and that they were the first movers. Like Celestia created this modular blockchain narrative, and it was one of the first DA solutions. Eigenlayer came up with this restaking concept and opened up the new opportunity for people. Babylon came up with this concept of Bitcoin staking that didn't exist before, especially in the way they introduced it in a cryptographically trustless way. So I think these were some of the good opportunities that showed up in the bear market, and also some of our, even on the DeFi side of things. So RWA, last year we had the round for usual money. They're one of the fastest growing stable coins at the moment. Fastest growing RWA stable coins at the moment grew from 0 to 250 million almost TVL in 2 months. So there were a lot of, I would say, good opportunities in bear cycles, and in the bull market, typically it tends to be a little bit overhyped and very high valuations, and usually not as many good opportunities in the bear cycle, I would say.
Yeah, sure. So I guess if I pick one interesting project from the first cycle, if we define first cycle as the one in 2017, then at that time I met a team, although the project failed, but then they tried to help people in Africa to be able to use message to send out Bitcoin. And I think that was super cool, because I mean, for many countries out there, they don't even have internet. So if they want to transfer cryptocurrencies, messages was probably the only way. Maybe it still is the only way. So, but then yeah, I don't know why they fell. I guess the team was not really doing the BD. It was more like an experiment. And then maybe just pick another project from this current cycle. I'll pick Zero Gravity. So we met the team super early.
Okay.
Sure. Here? Like,
Oh.
okay, here, yeah. Yeah, we met the team super early, and we so we invested at a very low valuation, which very lucky. And then I like the team. I guess I also like the narrative. I guess it's just really I see how AI is transforming or eating the entire, I guess, world from every industries. But then I see that you know, like the funny thing is when I talk to the investors, like the AI investors in Silicon Valley, they will not understand why you need to decentralize AI. Like why would you need to decentralize like data training or like data management or like computing power or whatever. Like they see us like joke, and then I have to like keep telling them like why, and then honestly we truly believe, like we're not lying, like trying to convince ourselves, but like we truly believe that in the centralized AI industry you need to have decentralized AI solutions, which zero gravity is one of the basic infrastructure out there to provide that solution. So yeah, and then there are many more obviously, but if I just pick two, then those are the two ones I want to mention.
Yeah, I think building on that again, back in 17, 18 that cycle. So I think we were early investors in Block team in a bunch of RWA tokenization and RWA projects. So like we at that time we were one of the earlier and still are one of the larger investors in Securitize, which is I think tokenizing. It's a platform for tokenizing real estate assets, funds. We also invested in a real estate tokenization play, which unfortunately didn't pan out. It didn't do well. And at that time, I think the challenge was that what the crux of it was is the secondary market for tokenization, that you can tokenize maybe a real estate and get it in primary, but then in order for it to really succeed, there should be a very liquid secondary market as well, and there was no secondary market for that. I think that's why I think we were not seeing a lot of success in that cycle. But now, as you see, like RWA is like the talk of town, like a lot of projects. So we are also investors in Centrifuge, bunch of other RWA projects. Second, I think similarly cycle to cycle, in the last one we were investors in a bunch of stable coins like Circle, the Turkish stable coin, Bailira, Canadian stable coins. So these are like fiat stable coins, different countries. And then now, of course, we see evolution of yield-bearing stable coins like Mountain Protocol. We invested in a new stable coin in the Solana ecosystem. So stuff like that. And then, of course, the infrastructures continues to develop. So we recently invested in Solare, which is kind of the Ivan staking platform on Solana. And then on the AI side, I think the way we are seeing on the AI side is like two things. One is on the where AI is basically providing in a decentralized way infrastructure for AI, so GPU usage and so on. So like investors in IO.net, for example. And on the other side, which we are a little bit more bullish about, is where all AI use cases have this new, very huge need for data, and so incentivizing users in a Web3 way to tag data. So different models where you can go and tag data. So we're invested in a company called Bagel. Other companies in that space are Sentiment, and so on. So like infrastructure and the labeling piece. I think those are the two AI models which we are seeing right now. So yeah, those are some of the trends I've seen like cycle over cycle.
Echoing to the part that Chichi and Amit mentioned, I also personally really bullish about how AI will bring different to us. And on my side, we on Incubator, we're also looking at a lot of innovative AI projects that would bring a mass adoption in the future. So I think from the VC perspective, what would be the scaling business model on the AI part that you're looking forward to, you put most emphasis on, and when you are looking through the AI sector, which specific module or which specific type of AI projects that you think will be the next big wave?
I think on the AI side of things, there are many interesting projects and many interesting sub-verticals that are forming up. Obviously, it all starts with the compute layer as the base layer, and over there, I think there are quite a few projects that position as GPU network, but in fact, most of them are simple marketplaces for GPU, like something that resembles the Airbnb model. So you can go to these platforms and rent individual GPUs. But then on the other hand, there are also a few projects that are still not live that are working on a little bit more ambitious goals, like how to resolve interoperability issues among non-uniform GPUs, or how to involve GPUs that are lower on the performance side of things, but still could provide potentially valuable services to the AI workloads and so on. And these are some of the interesting issues that are being researched at the moment. Obviously, we have training and inference as two main categories that are using this deep compute network. And on the inference side of things, I think we have a little bit more mature tech stack, and it's possible to do more in the short term. I think Jasper was here. He's at Hyperbolic. They're working on interesting stuff, but focused only on inference. Essentially, they leverage existing tech stack in Web2 that allows them to fully abstract the differences among AMD, Intel, NVIDIA. Again, for inference only, but this is a pretty cool idea, and they're approaching this from a deep angle. Essentially, anybody can contribute any sort of hardware and contribute to the open source permissionless network that can provide inference workloads. On the training side of things, it's also quite interesting, but the problems are a little bit more challenging because even these distributed computing frameworks in the traditional conventional AI stack are not able to support geographically distributed nodes, and even some skeptics are thinking how transformers could even learn in a distributed setting because of the way that the traditional backpropagation mechanisms work. So there are some very fundamental challenges, but there are also some very ambitious projects like Jensen that is trying to resolve how to essentially abstract non-uniform hardware on the training side of things, which is to some extent a moonshot, but if they're successful, it would be huge impact. Then we have projects on more early stage, like Neuromesh, that are trying to experiment with something that could replace, essentially this is a research topic that has been researched mostly by Oxford University researchers for the past 6-7 years about predictive configuration as an alternative for basically traditional backpropagation. And if this proves to be successful, this is much more parallelizable process of AI training, and it's also something where you can involve, for instance, GPUs like 4090s that are currently not utilized to a great extent in training processes because of the lack of bandwidth. However, if you look into these GPUs only from the compute perspective, they actually have very competitive compute power, but because of the bandwidth issues and because of the way current AI models are being trained with traditional backprop, it's not possible to leverage these GPUs. So there are many very ambitious projects in this direction. I could go on and on, what Anna from Anna Labs was talking about data. I think it's also very interesting. I share many of her ideas about finding a next alternative source of data, how to unlock data that is kept in the walled garden. I think Anna Labs is one of the approaches. There are a few others. Over here, it obviously becomes important from a crypto side of things to provide privacy solutions so that people can share some of the confidential data and allow model developers to leverage a valuable data structure but not reveal some of the sensitive information. But have to be wary of the panel time, so I'll stop here and give back.
Yeah, so basically, Momir covered most part.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, most part of the categories. So there's not much less left for us to mention. Okay, yeah, maybe one thing to mention could be ethical solutions, because I mean, if you read the news about what's happening in Korea now, there are a lot of deepfake videos and photos out there. And then, so I guess by using AI, I guess I can imagine in the future you will be adopted by most or every single social media out there. They're gonna have to use the blockchain solution to give a stamp on each video, and then to judge, to see like which one is real, which one's fake. So and then this is like a very necessary thing that they have to adopt.
Yeah, I think pretty much everything is covered. Just one thing maybe comes to mind is also like infrastructure for kind of AI adoption, or better use of AI adoption. So we invested in a company called LayerLens, where basically like today if you are running an AI model, so whether it's GPT or Claude or any of them, the models are so strong that they can actually gain the way you are trying to kind of measure them. So the best way to actually and so if you want to see for your use case which model actually works best, there needs to be an unbiased way to measure that. So this is basically a model benchmarking play where they use Web3 incentives to benchmark various models. For your use case, how did the model perform? And it's very critical because you should know that, okay, this model, it gave the output so far, like at what time did it give the output, how much usage was consumed and so on. So it's basically a benchmarking play. So I think there's a category here as well where it would be like basically infra for the adoption kind of these various models.
Really love the sharing about AI topic and the data side, because I recently ran on identity and some breakthrough. So I think this is a part of what we are looking for at the moment. And I think for this part, it's more focused on infra and the middleware side, which is like not seeing really like directly in touch of the end user side. So I think from the end user side, like any of the projects that we're looking for at the moment is like outside of the middle or like the infra layer. Any kind of customer-facing projects that you are looking forward to, or you think will be the next narrative that bring you to the mass adoption, like another wave outside of like DeFi summer or gaming or NFT in the previous season, like what you expected will be coming probably in the next coming months?
I usually cover infra and DeFi research and investment, so like I would probably have a biased answer and end up again talking about some infra solutions. But I think on the consumer side of things, like on the IOSG level, like we are trying to actively search for new opportunities. We spent a lot of time looking into gaming projects, and I personally find it's very hard to, also from an early stage investor perspective, evaluate some of these deals, because I feel for gaming and some of these adjacent categories, it's essentially like OpenSea. Everybody can come with a unique story. There is no essentially logical framework. For instance, if you think about all of these infrastructure projects, there are always certain trade-offs, and you can give like a more logical frameworks to analyze and assess each opportunity. When it comes to gaming, every project is like unique story. It's like never ending. Everybody can always come up with a new thing, and then I think investors usually for these categories try to emphasize a little bit more the track record of the team and how well they have done previously in their gaming studios and so on. Obviously, a lot of the consumer topics in crypto have some form of speculative element, so we have seen a lot of these in the primary market, but I'm not sure whether I have seen something that gave me as much excitement to say that oh, this is something that would last through different cycles. Like most of them are very specific to the current cycle and can do very well in the bull, but then it's very much sensitive to the crypto prices. And on the new categories beyond maybe beyond crypto and AI and some of the consumer-related stuff, I think there's some interesting stuff happening in the Bitcoin ecosystem. We invested in 2 projects. One of them is Bob, I think the most legitimate Bitcoin scaling solution. They recently also shared the BTM V2 white paper together with Robin Linus, who authored the BTM V1, and I think BTM is currently the biggest hope for Bitcoin to actually have some prospect of scalability and anything that comes close to L2 solutions. So I think this is something that could become like a new important thing for the ecosystem, but not necessarily something that leads to new use cases. If I'm realistic, I would just expect